I'm a rapper and everything, so I also do poetry. That's where I started out. That's where I first started out, and I enjoy the art so much. And I'm a creative writer, so I write whatever comes to my mind, and I just put it right on paper. I write whatever comes to my mind. I think back all around the world that goes around. So I got a poem that's called "The World." It's called the what I name? It's called "The World of the History all around the world that can and here it is right here. As I look around at the things that goes on, the things that has me shocked, that sometimes takes away my joy, to express to things that have me shocked, take away my joy, to tell you some of the expressions that go through my imagination. Well, I guess I'll explain it even more. It goes all the way back down in history that I think still sometimes think rememberable. First, the Mayans left and we don't know where they went. I guess the researchers was researching about them having deforestation and a drought. After the moment, their city began to collapse. When they lived through a certain point of the timeline, they left back a lot of artwork. Perhaps their agriculture began to spread. So the only thing that goes through my imagination is, are they still here or not? Second, Christopher Columbus was traveling everywhere and found some new land, sailing through different countries, and supposedly found some that was already owned by other natives. Even until this time on, we are still inspired by his voyages without looking at the standpoint of his discoveries. People see it as a big success, but people see it as a big success. People see it as a big success, and so now we are still inspired. So now, people see it as a big success. So now every year he has an abbreviated day. The only thing that comes through my mind is that land actually his that he supposedly claimed? Third, there was a man that found another life underneath the surface, quietly remained saying no one's ready for what he's saying. Constantly the interviewers trying to talk to him, trying to get him to explain everything he encountered under the ocean. But that's fascinating technology, all the technology that's built, there's no possible solution. Eventually he passed on with the sequence unspoken, so the evidence still became unremained. So the only thing that goes through my mind is, should I feel worried or devastated to want to find out for my own self? Fourth, there was a school knocked down so no one can walk around the peak, to keep everyone from noticing all the artifacts from the leftover from the tragedy. Ironically, there was on catchy scenes from the emotional individual that was all surrounded through the supremacy that showed emotion after they lost their seat. If you go back and look in between, no tears coming down people's faces, and a lot of hugs and sad release. So the only thing that comes through my mind is, was that whole thing an actual tragic thing, or was that whole thing set up for a conspiracy? All of these things happening, what left me, all of these things happening, all of these things happening, but leave me curious minded, don't know what's next to expect when there seem to be facts hidden with defiance, when the media is only telling you parts in front of the camera and leaving the rest behind it. I guess we would never know the theme of it all unless we open our eyes and visually look at the other side without letting the media blindside us. Those are the things that go on in my visual that I still think is still rememberable. CP4.